Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today we're listening to True Crime.
Alignment. On the morning of October 22nd, 2023, in Gardner, Massachusetts, a horrific event shattered the peace of the community. 33-year-old Aaron Pennington, someone once known as a protector, was now on the run, armed and dangerous. His wife, 30-year-old Brianne Pennington, had been found dead in the master bedroom of their home, her face marred by gunshot wounds. As investigators pieced together the puzzle, a chilling tale emerged. A note discovered on Aaron's phone, penned the night before Brianne's tragic end, sent shivers down the spine. As the investigation unfolded, the strained marital issues between Aaron and Brianne began to come to light. Their 4 children are now struggling to cope with the aftermath of this traumatic event. This chilling saga is still unfolding, but one thing is for certain. Aaron Pennington's secrets have revealed a darkness that is shaking the community to its core. But the real question is, who shot Brianne? What did the note on Aaron's phone say? Well, let's find out. Gardner, Massachusetts is a city with a rich and fascinating history. It was once known as the Chair City and the furniture capital of New England due to its thriving lumber and furniture industries. At the peak of its production, Gardner produced millions of chairs every year. Today, Gardner is a city with a lower than average crime rate compared to other cities in Massachusetts. According to the FBI, the total crime rate in Gardner is 54% lower than the national average. The violent crime rate in Gardner is also significantly lower than the national average, at 1.3 times smaller. Residents of Gardner generally consider the northwest part of the city to be the safest area. However, this case has given us an important message that crime can occur anywhere, even in the calmest parts of a town.
It's kind of petrifying, to be honest with you. As I said, it's fairly quiet around here. People are friendly. You hardly ever see cops on this road.
Brianne Pennington was born on October 27, 1992, in Montgomery, Texas, to Robert and Elizabeth Hull. Her world included her brother, Brandon Hull, and 4 half-siblings, Bryce, Brooke, Pete, and Julianne Robinson. Nieces, nephews, and cousins added layers of love to her expansive circle. She was talented and passionate about many things in life. She loved horse riding, adventures, science, and even raising exotic chickens.
Knowing her was like knowing what it would be like to know warmth and light in the form of a person.
Brianne and Aaron met in Arizona. Their first public appearance as a couple was seen on Facebook. Pennington often posted about his wife on Facebook, starting with the first public picture of her on April 16, 2013. He captioned the photo, "The hottest girlfriend," and it showed a smiling young Brianne Pennington in a red hoodie by a lake. Pennington and Brianne got married in July 2013, according to wedding photos he posted on Facebook. They had their first child in spring 2014, and Pennington posted photos and videos of his wife's pregnancy and birth on Facebook. In 2015, Pennington joined the Air Force as a senior airman. He worked as an airlift, special mission, and aircraft maintenance journeyman, according to spokesperson Laurel Falls. His Facebook post showed that he was stationed in Japan for some time in the late 2010s, and he even posted a video taken from a military aircraft in 2017. One of the family's recent documented outings occurred on October 11th at a pumpkin patch, as per Pennington's post, where he mentioned being with his wife and shared pictures of their kids. Brianne Pennington's most recent post featuring her husband dates back to 2022. Pennington was last stationed in Arizona and transferred to the Air Force Reserves in mid-2022. He officially left the military altogether on February 17, 2023, according to spokesperson Laurel Falls. In 2022, Brianne and Aaron planted roots in Gardner, turning their house into a home. Always radiating cheerfulness and friendliness, Brianne, now 30, touched the lives of those around her, weaving a web of friendships while cherishing her family. They had 4 children, Avi, Levi, Charles, and Heidi, aged 2, 5, 7, and 9. The family of 6 lived in a house with 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, located about an hour outside of Worcester. Public records show that they bought the house in June 2022. But little did Brienne know that the worst was just around the corner, and she could never have expected what would happen next. On October 22nd, 2023, at around 9:14 a.m., a neighbor of the Penningtons, Carrie McDermott, called 911 to report that the Penningtons' 4 children had come to her house. They were scared because they couldn't find their father, and their mother was in her bedroom crying. The children also told the neighbor that their father's car wasn't in the driveway. Police arrived within 5 minutes and found Brienne in bed in an upstairs bedroom with a gunshot wound to the face. Officers didn't find anyone else in the house. Brienne was pronounced dead at 9:30 a.m., and the chief medical examiner's office was notified. The kids probably overheard their mom's last moments on the other side of the door. They might have heard her cries for help, but being kids, they thought it was their mom crying. So they went to the neighbor's place, saying their mom was on the floor crying. Their dad, Aaron Pennington, was nowhere to be found. This makes one wonder, where was Aaron during all of this? Could he be the one responsible? And if he was, then what could be the reason behind such a heartbreaking decision? The search for Aaron Pennington unfolded on multiple fronts. The investigation also revealed that he planned his actions before shooting her. Upon a partial review of his cell phone's contents, investigators stumbled upon a note time-stamped at 7:04 p.m. on Saturday, October 21st. This note added a creepy twist to the case. The unsettling instructions read, "Don't say anything. Be quiet. If she wakes up, just say you're getting nasal spray." The note takes an even more disturbing turn with the following directives. Get on the side of the bed, very close proximity to the head. Put a hole in her head.
This plan, so to speak, was probably a couple of months in process, and along with the fact that he had significant mental health issues. Tragic situation. I have 4 kids myself. I just can't imagine what those children are going through right now.
Also, the last time he was seen in security footage. This captured Aaron Pennington leaving the residence in a white 2013 BMW sedan around 8:50 a.m. on October 22nd.
It's very heavily wooded. It's sparse. You can go a long ways without seeing anything. So the grid search is large at this point in time.
The vehicle was discovered about 5 miles from the couple's home by a bow hunter navigating Camp Collier near the Ashburnham line on Monday, October 23rd, 2023. Law enforcement's collaborative efforts continue to unravel the details surrounding this heartbreaking incident. Local police, troopers, K-9 units, and the State Police Air Wing combed the forest on both Tuesday and Wednesday, while a state police dive team investigated Lake Wampanoag on October 27th. A significant effort on October 31st, 2023 expanded the search area to around 200 acres.
He's got some training from the Air Force, which includes probably search and rescue training, and being that he's from that area, he's probably very familiar with the woods from the area, and as well as most likely he had planned this out for a very long period of time based upon what appeared to be in his phone. So it seems like something happened in the house that was a catalyst for him to go ahead and go through with his plan. And with that plan, he went ahead and went to the woods or went to whatever, but I'm very confident that the Mass State Police are going to find this guy.
When police looked into Aaron's military past, they learned that he'd worked with Russian missiles in defense and reportedly holds an active security clearance. He also possesses an illegally owned firearm, specifically a shotgun, as indicated by the discovery of 3 spent cartridges at the scene of his wife's tragic death. As of November 2nd, 2023, detectives in the State Police's fugitive unit were still thoroughly examining leads, delving into Pennington's life, past behaviors, and trying to find potential connections to other parts of the country. The decision to continue large-scale search efforts is evaluated case by case, factoring in various considerations. Subsequent investigations revealed 3 spent casings in the bedroom, and an autopsy confirmed Brienne's tragic death as a homicide due to a gunshot wound. When looking into a possible motive for the murder, police found some interesting evidence. According to documents, Brienne Pennington expressed her intention to leave her husband, taking their children with her. Investigative interviews and neighborhood surveillance revealed that the couple had been grappling with marital problems over an extended period. Pennington had been dealing with ongoing mental health challenges and had even expressed thoughts of taking his own life. In response to these issues, his wife planned to relocate to Texas with the children. This phase, when a victim tries to leave, is often identified as the most dangerous. The research underscores the heightened risk, particularly when threats to hurt oneself are involved, ranking among the top 20 indicators for domestic violence homicide. Moreover, the court documents noted that Brianne was known to possess a firearm at their residence for her protection. However, neither of them had the required license to carry firearms in Massachusetts. Two key questions arise. Did Aaron Pennington do this alone, or did someone else help in this sinister plan? Also, was this murder carefully planned, or are these notes just the thoughts of someone thinking about doing something really dark? The mysterious note makes the investigation even more complicated. As authorities persist in their pursuit of the suspect, Brianne's devastated family expressed their disbelief at losing the loving, caring, compassionate mother of four. We're all in shock about this. We're all in shock. We had no idea something like this would ever happen, conveyed Brooke Pertile, Brianne's sister. He better turn himself in. He needs to stand up for what he did and turn himself in, and not be a coward. He needs to turn himself in. He needs to do it for the kids. After the tragedy, one of Brianne's friends took to Facebook, expressing concerns about Aaron Pennington's potential self-harm.
Knowing her was like knowing what it would be like to know warmth and light in the form of a person.
Aaron is still on the run, although it's thought that he'll probably die by... posted Brianne's friend, Aaron Mackey, on Facebook. If any of you reading this struggle with mental health, I urge you to seek help. As we come to the end of this strange story, officials shared that they think Aaron Pennington, with his military skills, might be surviving in the woods close to the Camp Collier area in Ashburnham. But here's the latest twist. As of November 1st, police believe he could still be out there, armed and trying not to get caught. Another theory they have is that he might have taken his own life in the woods. It's important to mention that special canine units trained for tracking decomposing bodies haven't picked up any signs of a body in the Camp Collier area as of November 1st. So here's where we are. Brianne's children are now in state custody. Aaron Pennington is still on the run, and the case is still open. As we navigate through the chilling details of this unfolding mystery, the search for Aaron Pennington intensifies. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches tall and around 175 pounds, he remains at large. Now, here's where we need your help. Brianne Pennington owned a firearm for protection, yet neither she nor Aaron had a license to carry. If you spot Aaron, don't hesitate. Call 911, Gardner Police at 978-632-5600, or Massachusetts State Police at 508-829-8236. But be advised not to approach him, as he's considered armed and dangerous. Your vigilance could be crucial in this ongoing investigation.
The most traumatic experience of my life, and I'm glad it's finally over.
Our first case takes us to Anaheim, a city in California with a population of around 350,000 people. It's a tourist town, with the majority of its economy being based on tourism. It's most well known for being the home of the Disneyland Resort and the popular Major League Baseball franchise, the Los Angeles Angels. In the year 2016, Anaheim saw the twisted case of Angela Diaz unfold. However, our story begins in 2013, when 26-year-old Michelle Hadley met 35-year-old Ian Diaz, a U.S. Marshal, on a dating site, and they began a romantic relationship. At the time, Hadley recently divorced her high school sweetheart after just 4 years of marriage. A few months after Ian and Michelle began dating, they decided to move in together. On June 5, 2015, the couple purchased a condo together in Anaheim. Michelle contributed a down payment of $14,401, while the remaining balance of $459,000 was covered by a mortgage. Unfortunately, their relationship took a turn for the worse, and by August 2015, they'd broken up. Following the split, Michelle moved out and went to live with her parents in Ontario, California. Ian, on the other hand, chose to remain in the condo they'd once shared. This condo they owned together soon became a source of conflict. Then, on November 24, 2015, Ian and Michelle reached an agreement. In this arrangement, Ian agreed to pay Michelle $3,000. In return, Michelle would provide Ian with a quitclaim deed, which would transfer ownership of the property to him. Ian would then have to take over the mortgage responsibility by June 5th, 2016. In January 2016, Ian met a woman named Angela on a dating site, and by February of that year, they got married. Meanwhile, Ian's dispute with Michelle over the condo continued. Fast forward to May 22nd, 2016, and Ian had still not made any moves to take over the mortgage as agreed in their prior arrangement. In response, Michelle sent Ian an email stating her intent to enforce the agreement they'd made. In May of that year, some unsettling events unfolded. Angela Diaz, Ian's wife, contacted the Anaheim police, reporting that she'd been received threatening emails. She firmly believed that Michelle was the one behind these threatening messages. One of these threatening emails conveyed that Angela deserved nothing but a life of lonely torture, with the sender claiming to have ways to hurt her and emphasizing that there'd be nowhere safe. Another email reportedly stated that Angela might be beautiful and the one Ian married, but she was still considered a sinner who needed to be punished. The sender threatened to ensure Angela remembered her place, even by force. Furthermore, Angela and Ian reported an unsettling situation. They claimed that strange men were showing up at their home, seemingly expecting an intimate encounter as part of a fantasy. It was believed that these men had responded to an online ad that directed them to the couple's residence, indicating that they were there for consensual activity. Suspicion arose that Michelle might have been the one behind creating this ad. After these incidents, Ian and Angela took legal action by obtaining restraining orders against Michelle. They firmly asserted that she presented a real and significant threat to their safety. Ian went further by informing the police that in his professional experience as a U.S. Marshal investigating threats against federal judges and prosecutors, he'd never seen anything like this level of danger. On June 6, 2016, police officers went to Michelle's home in Ontario and delivered a temporary restraining order, instructing her to keep her distance from Angela. Despite the restraining order, Angela and Ian kept contacting the local police, alleging that Angela had been physically attacked due to the ads they believed Michelle had posted on Craigslist. There was even an alarming incident where Angela dialed 911 and reported that a man had shown up and attempted to take advantage of her in their garage. When the police arrived at her residence, Angela was found with her shirt torn and her neck showing signs of redness. On the night of June 24, 2016, at 11:45 p.m., authorities took Michelle into custody at her residence in Ontario. During the arrest, law enforcement officers confiscated Michelle's phone, iPad, and laptop as part of their ongoing investigation into the situation. While Michelle was able to secure her release from jail the next morning through bail, her electronic devices continued to be held by the police. On July 14, 2016, Michelle found herself under arrest once again. This came about because Angela reported receiving further threats from Michelle's email address. What made the situation even more distressing was that Angela informed the police that she was pregnant and that Michelle had sent threatening emails, including disturbing photos, promising to take revenge against both her and the child she was carrying. These emails contained distressing links to graphic images, including bodies without limbs and babies whose life had been lost before they were born.
There is a little extra part of this. When the relationship with your ex-fiance broke up, you did send some emails to him that were nasty.
I wouldn't call them nasty, but I would say that the language that I used was more forceful than I would normally take. But the tone and the language was very different from what Angela was using.
But if you read those emails as a police officer, do you think they would have led you to be a likely suspect in what was happening with Angela Diaz?
Following her arrest, Michelle was held in the Orange County Central Women's Jail, and her bail was set at $1 million. She faced serious felony charges that carried the potential of a lifelong prison sentence. Due to the nature of the alleged crime, Michelle was placed in a high-security unit and remained there in detention. As the police investigation continued, a significant error became evident. They realized that Angela had falsely accused Michelle. The truth came to light when they traced one of the IP addresses used to send the threatening emails back to the Diaz's condominium in Anaheim. Further investigation revealed that Angela had used a VPN and third-party proxy servers to send the threatening emails to herself while concealing her actual IP address. In October 2016, Michelle was finally released after spending 88 days in custody. Then, on January 9th, 2017, the Orange County District Attorney's Office fully cleared her of all charges.
I believe that the police had enough information available to them before they arrested me the first time to know it wasn't me doing it.
When speaking to reporters outside the courtroom, Michelle expressed that this experience had been a nightmarish ordeal and likely the most traumatic episode of her life. She expressed relief that it was finally behind her. On the contrary, Angela faced charges on the same day for masterminding the entire scheme. It was revealed that she'd fabricated her pregnancy claims and faced various other accusations. Angela ultimately pleaded guilty later that year and received a 5-year prison sentence. Ian, however, was not connected to the crime in any way. In 2018, Michelle initiated a federal civil lawsuit against multiple parties, including the City of Anaheim, the Anaheim Police Department, and the Diaz couple. Her lawsuit included a range of accusations against the officers, such as false imprisonment, false arrest, civil rights violations, assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, negligence, and malicious prosecution. She also claimed that the Anaheim Police Department had failed to adequately investigate Ian. Furthermore, the lawsuit provided explicit accounts of the alleged abuse Michelle endured during her turbulent relationship with Ian. Michelle disclosed that Ian had displayed controlling behavior from the start of their relationship. She stated that he pushed her to dress provocatively, urging her to wear crop tops and acrylic nails. Additionally, Michelle claimed that Ian pressured her to leave her higher-paying job for a marketing position that paid $20,000 less. Interestingly, this new job happened to be at Ian's favorite place, the Disneyland Resort, where he previously worked. According to the lawsuit, Michelle believed Ian pushed her to work there so his former colleagues could monitor her closely. Michelle also disclosed that during their relationship, Ian continuously pressured her to participate in his fantasies, including engaging intimately with strangers. She revealed that on February 14, 2014, she reluctantly gave in to Ian's demands. On that occasion, he arranged for a stranger from Craigslist to visit their home, provided Michelle with 3 shots of whiskey, and set up cameras in their bedroom. Ian reportedly filmed the encounter and watched it from another room as the stranger had intimate relations with Michelle. This disturbing incident left Michelle deeply traumatized. The lawsuit that Michelle filed was ultimately resolved in April 2021, with the settlement amount remaining undisclosed. However, this story takes another turn. In that same year, the Department of Justice initiated its own investigation, revealing unsettling revelations. Authorities found that Angela hadn't acted alone. Ian had actively conspired with her to falsely implicate Michelle. According to the authorities, part of Ian's motivation was to discourage Michelle from forcing him to leave the condominium they shared. Ian and Angela had jointly sent fake threatening emails to each other while pretending to be Michelle. They went as far as creating online accounts using aliases, some of which included variations of Michelle's name. It was the Diaz couple who posted advertisements on Craigslist, guiding people to their own home. This sinister plan aimed to stage an assault on Angela, all while attempting to pin the blame on Michelle. One of the reasons authorities initially focused only on Angela was partly due to Ian's actions when the conspiracy had begun to unravel. In September 2016, he had a telephone conversation with local law enforcement, during which he implied that he believed Angela was the sole person responsible for framing Michelle. In doing so, he concealed his own involvement in the conspiracy. In May 2021, following the revelation of these events, Ian faced a series of serious charges. These included conspiracy to commit cyberstalking, perjury, and obstruction of a federal matter. As a result of these charges, Ian was removed from his active duties and put on administrative leave. Authorities asserted that Ian had misused his position as a deputy U.S. Marshal to carry out a complex plot that falsely implicated an innocent person in an assault case. In March 2023, at the age of 44, Ian was convicted of the charges filed against him. On June 30th, 2023, he received a prison sentence of 10 years and 1 month for his involvement in the crime. Michelle expressed her joy at the outcome. In a statement, she said that her family had long awaited justice. She also added that this verdict had finally brought them peace after years of enduring a tiring legal battle. Budgeree is a rural locality located in eastern Victoria, Australia. It's home to a population of less than 200 people and has an impressive selection of attractions and experiences. Our next case would unfold here in the year 2008. Julian Buchwald, age 23, and Carolyn Watson, age 17, were a couple from Australia. They were both devout Christians and spent much of their time at their church, demonstrating their strong commitment to their faith. The couple refrained from kissing or hugging. They simply held hands. Their decision was to save any displays of affection until after Carolyn turned 18 and completed high school, as they intended to marry once she reached that age. In the meantime, they enjoyed dates like hiking and picnics, exploring their town, deepening their faith through prayer, studying diligently, and eagerly looking forward to Carolyn's 18th birthday. On March 4th, 2008, Julian wanted to treat his girlfriend, Carolyn, to a special day. His family owned a beautiful property with a waterfall, making it the perfect destination. However, despite its picturesque charm, the area was in rural Australia, known for potential dangers like snakes, spiders, and kangaroos, capable of posing threats to people. To ensure their safety, they planned to leave the property and return home by 3 p.m., well before sunset. Julian picked up Carolyn and they set off for the property, full of chatter and joy. It was shaping up to be a delightful and fun date. While they were en route to their picnic spot, Julian spotted an animal by the side of the road. He decided to pull over and take a closer look. You see, Julian had a rather peculiar hobby. He enjoyed inspecting roadkill, trying to identify the type of animal, understanding how it met its demise, and determining if its meat could be salvaged for cooking. When Julian got enthusiastic about this, Carolyn didn't find it odd because she knew of his unusual interest. However, she wasn't as interested and chose to stay in the car while Julian went out to examine the roadside discovery. Suddenly, a masked man wearing a balaclava appeared, and he forcibly blindfolded Carolyn, undressed her, tied her up, and placed her in the trunk of a car before driving away. After about 6 hours of driving, the car came to a halt, and Carolyn was dumped on the ground. Moments later, Julian, her boyfriend, removed her blindfold. She discovered that, like herself, Julian was also naked. He claimed that they'd both been kidnapped by a satanic cult and brought to the remote area. Julian explained that he'd managed to free himself and helped Carolyn to do the same once her blindfold was off. Once they were both liberated, they found themselves in an open field. To their surprise, they stumbled upon a bag containing a sleeping bag, a toothbrush, a coconut, a knife, a shovel, and even a jar of peanut butter, like the one they'd packed for their picnic. The couple found themselves stranded in the wilderness for several days, desperately trying to survive. The nights were bitterly cold, and they clung together for warmth while rain poured outside. They sought refuge in the sleeping bag they'd found. During one of these nights, Julian proposed that they marry under the eyes of God, ending their commitment to celibacy. Carolyn, determined to survive, was taken aback by the proposal and declined. Despite her refusal, Julian persisted in suggesting they marry and consummate their marriage on multiple occasions. Carolyn held firm in her refusal, citing concerns about her parents' disapproval. While Julian and Carolyn were stranded in the wilderness, their worried families initiated a search for them, and the police launched an investigation. During their time in the wild, the couple stumbled upon another bag that contained their torn clothes. Almost a week after their kidnapping, a farmer in the vicinity found them. They were half naked and suffering from sunburn, clearly lost and in distress. Recognizing their predicament, he promptly reported their situation to the authorities. Initially, when Julian spoke to the police, he stuck to the story of the satanic cult abduction. The police took this seriously, partly due to a letter found at Carolyn's parents' house with what appeared to be satanic symbols. However, the police had their doubts and decided to press Julian for more information. Under pressure, he confessed to the shocking truth. He'd orchestrated the entire kidnapping himself. He had been the masked man all along. When asked about his motive, he revealed that it was an elaborate attempt to persuade his girlfriend to marry him and put an end to their celibacy. Julien was found guilty of kidnapping, but remained out on bail. During this time, he missed a court appearance in Morwell for his sentencing. Later, it was discovered that he'd fled the country. To escape, Julien obtained a fake Indian passport and changed his appearance by dyeing his hair and darkening his eyebrows. Using these alterations, he slipped past customs and immigration checkpoints on September 16, 2009. He boarded a Singapore Airlines flight from Sydney to Chennai, India, which took nearly 15 hours. Upon landing in Chennai, Indian airport officials grew suspicious of his passport and appearance, and they denied him entry, sensing something was amiss. Julien was sent back to Singapore, where his true identity was revealed, and he was promptly arrested. He was subsequently sentenced in September 2009 to 7 years and 9 months in prison, with an additional 6 months added for fleeing the country. On the evening of August 2, 2017, in the village of Autun-de-Perche, located roughly 150 kilometers southwest of Paris, a heartwarming scene unfolded. A 69-year-old man named Lucien Perrault prepared to enjoy a meal in his garden. On his table, covered with a red and white checkered cloth, he'd set out a simple feast consisting of rib steak, canned beans, camembert cheese, and a baguette. The atmosphere was filled with music, laughter, and plenty of red wine. Sitting across from Lucien was his close friend Olivier Boudet, who was 38 years old. Lucien was retired, and Olivier was currently unemployed. Over the years, their friendship had grown strong, and according to their neighbors, they were as close as a father and son. The next morning, on August 3, 2017, at 6 a.m., a neighbor from next door made a startling discovery. Olivier was found lying flat on the ground, while Lucien was slumped in his chair with an unfinished meal in front of him. Initially, the neighbor assumed that they were simply sleeping off the effects of a night of heavy drinking. But as a few hours passed and the sun rose higher, the neighbor walked by their garden again and noticed that Lucien was still seated at the table. Concerned about the possibility of them getting sunstroke in the blazing sun, she called out to them, but received no response. Both men appeared peaceful, as though they were still asleep. In an attempt to awake Olivier, another neighbor poured cold water on him, but there was no sign of him stirring. It was then that the tragic realization hit them, and they realized that both men had passed away during their dinner together. When the local and national press heard about the puzzling deaths, there was concern that the village might become the center of a dark crime tale. Although there were no indications of a robbery or a fight at Lucien's place, the authorities couldn't dismiss the possibility of a third party being involved. The possibility of poisoning, whether accidental or intentional, was considered. Many suspected that the can of beans might have led to a deadly case of botulism, which is a rare but serious illness caused by a toxin produced by certain bacteria found in improperly canned or preserved foods. The contents of the can were sent to the Pasteur Institute in Paris for testing, but the results came back negative, leaving the public disappointed. The other parts of the meal were sent to police laboratories for additional testing. After the tests yielded no significant findings, the police conducted a search to identify any potential enemies or individuals who might have wished harm upon the two men. However, their investigation didn't uncover any leads or suspects. The villagers were doubtful about the idea of both men taking their own lives together, especially since Lucien had been in a seemingly good mood earlier in the day. However, one neighbor had her own theory. She believed that one of them had died, and this had driven the other to take his own life out of grief. Surprisingly, her theory was not far from the truth, as post-mortem examinations later revealed. On August 9, 2017, a week after the tragic dinner, medical experts determined the causes of their deaths. Lucien had choked on a 44-gram piece of beef rib, roughly the size of a small steak, which he couldn't chew properly. This difficulty might have been due to his multiple missing teeth. On the other hand, Olivier suffered a heart attack. He had a pre-existing condition called cardiomegaly, where the heart becomes abnormally large. It's believed that, upon witnessing his friend choke, the stress triggered Olivier's enlarged heart to fail, causing him to collapse. The local community found some comfort in knowing that the deaths were accidental. Some residents even described the incidents as unfortunate and avoidable.
911. Where do you need assistance?
I need an ambulance for my mom and my sister and my boyfriend.
What happened?
It's going a long story, and I just need somebody to get here quick, please.
Do not hang up with me. Hold on.